Fate Grand Order has a massive number of characters, and with me being a content creator for that game, it probably shouldn't surprise you that, quite often, people ask me who my favorite character is. But because there are just so many different characters to choose from, picking out just one as my favorite is exceptionally hard, even before you get into the fact that I'm not just good at picking out favorites in general. Steins Gate, for example, I just throw up my hands and say that I have 5 favorite characters. Forget about just choosing one. But people keep asking who my favorite FGO characters are. I can't escape it. So finally, at long last, on the 2-year anniversary of the release of Lost Belt 6 on NA, when my YouTube journey really began, I'm going to try to answer that question. Who are my favorite servants in Fate Grand Order? And in order to do that, I'm going to put them on a tier list. So how will this list work? Well, first off, I went to the FGO wiki and went through the entire servant list, grabbing an image of them, usually their final ascension, and set them up on this here tier list. There are 300 of them. Now, those of you who can do math might notice that 300 is a lot less than the 383 servants released on NA, never mind the 440 on JP. Well, making a tier list with 300 entries on it is a lot, and since I play on NA, I don't know many of the characters that are only on JP, and so I don't have an opinion of them. But, more importantly, many entries are honestly redundant, because while there might be multiple versions of some characters, my opinions of the characters might not necessarily change with each one. So for example, while there are 5 different versions of Cahulan in FGO, my opinion of him is generally the same. And so for this tier list, I only have his Lancer version on here. But if my opinion of an alternate version of a character is distinct enough from the original, then they get a separate entry on this list. So if you are wondering what I think of Elizabeth Bathory, but notice that I only include her original Lancer version, just take my opinion of her Lancer form and assume it applies to all the other Elizabeths too. So, after not including versions of characters where my opinion on them doesn't really differ from their main version, I ended up with 298 characters. I then went ahead and added 2 more, Galahad and Oriol, because my opinions of those 2 differ from the main servant that they are attached to, Mash and Sakamoto Ryoma respectively. End result, 300 characters, which is a much cleaner number than I was expecting. As for the ranks on this list, I have 7 different tiers. S tier is at the top. If you want to know who my personal favorite characters are, this is who they are. A tier is just below that, characters I really like, but aren't quite at S tier level. B tier is for characters I have a positive opinion of generally. Now, there are actually 2 different C tiers on this list. The first C tier is neutral, meaning characters who I don't have strong opinions of either way, while the second C tier below it is mixed, characters who I sometimes like, but sometimes dislike too. Below that lies D tier. I don't like these characters. Lastly, we have F tier. These are the characters I hate. If I never saw these characters again, that would make me happy. Now obviously this tier list is my personal opinion of the characters. I'm expecting people to disagree with me. Also, because there are so many characters to place upon this list, I'm going to try not to spend too much time elaborating on each character. So if you are looking for an essay on why I think Galahad sucks, sorry, but we don't have time for that. Lastly, these grades are 100% distinct from the accuracy grades I give out in the main videos. Just because I give a low grade to someone in those videos, doesn't mean that I automatically hate the character. And also, I expect that where I decide to place many of these characters will be a bit surprising. Now with no more ado, let's get started. So in many ways, the first 2 entries on this list they're kind of going to bookend this a bit because, well, in the intro I made it really obvious what my opinion of Galahad is, and I've certainly made it obvious in previous videos. So him going in F tier probably doesn't surprise any of you. Mash, on the other hand, it's Mash, come on. She's wonderful. She's going straight to S tier. What more needs to be said, right? So they kind of, put a, what do you call it? Kind of a framework, you could say, on, what a top tier character is like and what a bottom tier character is like, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so OG Saber, A tier for me. She's great. Saber Alter, She would have been a little lower, but then she had Shinjuku, and that was particularly nice. So she's actually also going into A tier. Nero. Nero. This one's actually tougher than you might think, because she's definitely low, but I'm actually kind of indecisive on this as to whether or not she's D tier or F tier. I'm actually going to put her at D tier because I don't like her. I've made that clear many times, but I don't completely hate her guts. She occasionally has good moments. Maybe this is like the, since the most recent was technically Lilim Harlot, that I'm a bit more forgiving, but, it's not completely screwed, but it's definitely not on my favorites list, that's for sure. Siegfried, he's okay. I'm put him at C tier as being mixed. Caesar, get out of here. I don't want to see you ever again. Altera, I really like Altera. I've always really liked Altera, actually. She's A tier. Saber Gilles. I think he's also mixed, personally. Chevalier d'Aeon. This one's actually kind of tough because we haven't seen Daeon in quite a while. So it's kind of like, I'm going to say neutral. So the C tier of neutral. So I don't really have a strong opinion about Daeon either way. Okay. Emiya, Archer Emiya. A tier. He's great. Gilgamesh, Archer version. He's going to C tier for mixed. Because he's, see, on the one hand, I think he's kind of awesome at times, but on the other hand, it's like, I think about his original portrayal in Fate. He's a jerk. He's a complete jackass. But he's also kind of awesome. So he's definitely mixed as far as I'm concerned. But he kind of leans a bit towards B, but ultimately I'm going to put him in mixed for the C tier. Robin Hood, neutral. I don't particularly care for him either way. Atalanta, same thing. Yurale, also neutral. Arash. I generally like Arash, so yeah. I mean, he doesn't appear very often, but when he does, he's kind of nice. Cahulan. As I mentioned in the intro, there's only actually one Cahulan entry on this entire list, so this Cahulan represents all of them. Speaking of that, Caster Gilles is not Archer Gilles. That's a very distinct character. Regular Coup, I think I'd put him in A tier, actually. I really do like him. He's kind of like almost B tier, but like, no, I'm gonna leave him in A. Okay, Elizabeth. Elizabeth. I'm putting her in D tier. She would get an F tier if it wasn't for the fact that I find her Halloween events to be hilarious at times. So, she's getting D. Benkei. He was kind of cool in Babylonia, but I guess I'm neutral on Benkei. Leonidas. This is actually kind of tough because he's kind of like a mix between A and B here. I'm putting him in B. I like him, but I don't think he's quite up to this level just yet. Or in general. Romulus, I don't care for Romulus, if we're being honest. And this is both Romuluses, by the way. So Quirinus and 3-star and 5-star Romulus are both included here. Medusa, all versions of Medusa, actually. A tier. She's great. Georgios, neutral. Blackbeard. If he started in Okeanos, he would have been straight an F. But as time has gone on, Summer 3 kind of bumped him to here, and then Summer 6 kind of bumped him to here. He's very much mixed, so he's gotten better over time as far as I'm concerned. So I'm actually going to put him in mixed here, believe it or not. Boudica. Boudica. It is no secret that her depiction in FGO is probably the one I hate the most, by far. But do I hate the character? Not necessarily. So I'm going to put her at D tier. Even though I really, like, she is probably the depiction of a character I can't stand the most, of any character in the Fae franchise. The way they did her in Septum was just basically the worst. Ushiwaka Maru. A tier. No question about that one. Younger version of Alex. I put him separate from Iskandar because he doesn't show up very often. I'm kind of neutral on him. Marie Antoinette. I'm gonna put her in B tier actually, because she generally is. I generally like her. Marie Alter obviously hasn't shown up on NA, so I'm not including her. And I am very curious how Marie Alter is gonna be. Martha. I generally like Martha, so she's kind of like a mix between good and neutral, honestly. So I'm going to put her in B tier for good. Medea. She's also going to go in B tier. Caster Gilles. Oof. So on the one hand, I kind of hate him because, whenever how I remember him best is, in Fate Zero when he's, a frickin' child killer, which is, horrible for obvious reasons. But he's kind of like in a love-to-hate kind of situation, in a sense. Like, he's horrible, but he's also kind of... So I'm going to put him in D tier. Hans. I'm going to put in B tier. He's kind of funny. Whenever he doesn't show up very often, but whenever he does show up, I find him amusing, personally. So I'm going to put him there. Shakespeare, I'm putting C tier. He's very mixed. He's kind of like neutral, but he's like... No, is that... Yeah, I'd say he's mixed. Mephistopheles, also mixed. For much the same reason. That can be kind of fun at times, but like, the shtick of him being, the bomber, it does get a little, like, it's kind of like he's a one-trick pony in a lot of ways. Mozart. I don't really care about Mozart, if we're being honest, so neutral. Waver, or Juge. Well, I haven't done a video on him yet, but I almost feel like it's pointless, because everybody calls him Waver. He's supposed to be, like, mixed, a pseudo of Juge Liang, but, since everyone literally calls the guy Waver, that kind of gives away, what he's going to end up getting as a grade. Spoiler alert. Because this is not Juge Liang. This is Waver. Do I like Waver? Yes, I like Waver, but I'm putting him in B tier because it's not quite that high. I like him, but I don't really like him. Sasaki Kojiro. This one's actually kind of tough. He has his moments for sure. I'm gonna put him in B. Okay. Cursed Arm Hassan. He was kind of a non-entity. He wasn't really that interesting in Heaven's Feel. He definitely had a good showing at Camelot. But I'm going to put him as neutral. Steno. When was the last time she even showed up for anything? I generally... So here's the thing with... so Medusa is obviously great. Yorale, I put her in neutral. I probably should have put her in mixed, if we're being honest. But... Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. She's going in mixed. Because I kind of like her at times, but she's also kind of snobby. The thing that keeps her positive is probably the one good storyline in Okeanos was between her and Asterios. So, but her sister doesn't have that, so she's going in D tier. And yeah, I'm probably going to change more of these as time goes on, as I think more about them. Jinke... she was in Septum. I don't even remember what the hell she did in Septum, but I did like her in Lost Belt 3. So I'm gonna put her in B tier. Charles-Henri Sanson, he's also B tier. Yep. Phantom, not interested. Matahari, I'd say neutral for her. Because she's alright, like, you know, but I don't have particularly strong opinions one way or the other. Carmilla, I'm gonna say mixed, because she hasn't shown up very often, but she's kind of a, like, occasionally has some fun moments, but generally just like, whatever. I should note, by the way, though, that, so I mentioned that I cut away a lot of what I called redundant servants. There are 2 servants on this list that I also have summer versions included. Carmilla is one of them. So we'll get back to her, or rather her summer version, later on. The other one is Jean, by the way. So Summer Carmilla and Summer Jean are on this list, in addition to their main versions. Heracles, I generally like him. I'm put him in B tier. If he showed more personality, I'd probably put him in A tier. Lu Bu, what does he even do except roar at people, honestly? And he could be so much more interesting, so I'm putting him in D tier. Spartacus, if it wasn't for Lost Belt 3, he'd be straight up F tier. But Lost Belt 3 puts him in D tier, because he had that really cool moment in Lost Belt 3. Sakata Kintoki, B. Oh, got the first new row here. Vlad the Third. This is Zerker Vlad specifically. I'm also putting him in B tier because I liked him in Traum. I liked him in Apocrypha as well. Asterios, we don't really see him very often. Like the only real storyline I remember him from, like distinctly, is Okeanos. I'm gonna put him in neutral for C tier because it's not really mixed. It's just kind of like we just don't see him very much. Caligula, he's also mixed. Oh, oops, there we go, mixed. Because on the one hand, he's kind of bland. You know, he just kind of, you know, doesn't have much to say. He was all right in Olympus, and sometimes I find him to be rather funny. Darius the Third, Darius, however the frick you say that name. He's kind of in the same, like, I'm put him in neutral, because I don't even remember what the hell he's in, honestly. Kyohime. She's fun to see, but she scares me. Maybe I should make a new tier, actually. You know what? Let's do that. Add a row below. This is this servant scares me tier. Doesn't have a letter. It's just this servant scares me tier. Kyohime is going there. So it's not below F tier. It's a special unique tier. Let's put it that way. Eric Bloodaxe, probably the most neglected servant in the entire game. Can I even do anything aside from neutral with this guy? I mean, he shows up for 5 minutes, and, you know, that's kind of it. Honestly, I'm putting him a dislike, actually, just because that in itself kind of poisoned. I'm sure he has an interlude, but I don't even remember what it is, so yeah, I'm going to put him in D tier. Tamamo Cat, B tier. I've always liked Tamamo Cat whenever she shows up. She's fun. Jean, regular Jean. She's also B tier. To be perfectly honest, I mean, I do generally like her, but honestly, I think Apocrypha hurt her. Otherwise, she might have ended up in A tier if it wasn't for Apocrypha. Artemis and Orion. This is the original Artemis and Orion. Super Orion is on this list. F tier. Get out of here. Tamamo. I wish we saw more of her, honestly. Because I remember her from Extella. I did like her in Extella. But she almost never shows up in FGO. I mean, we have Tamamo Cat, and we have the red herring that is Koyanskaya, which turns out to have nothing to do with... maybe I shouldn't say that in case... I mean, Tunguska is a 1.5 years old by now, but... Anyway, Tamamo... I'm putting her in A tier. David... I'm neutral on him. Hector... Also neutral. I don't really particularly care or remember them either way. Drake. I generally like Drake, so B tier. Anna Mary. Kind of mixed. Or no, not really mixed, because they're okay. They're not like terrible, but they're in some terrible storylines is their problem. And also their depiction, honestly, is just kind of ugh. Yeah, so actually C mixed tier works. Okita Soji. Ugh. This one's tough, but for kind of an opposite reason, because she's high. She's very high. I guess the question becomes, is she A tier or S tier? I'm gonna say A. Nobu is also A. And that's all the Nobus, by the way. So Summer, Maonobu, all of them are A tier as far as I'm concerned. Skahawk, probably B tier for Skahawk. I like her, but yeah, she's alright. Diarmuid. I generally like Diarmuid, but I'm gonna say mixed for him, because it's kind of like, you know, I liked him in Fate Zero. I highlighted this in the Diarmuid video specifically, that you know, he had a good start, but you know, ever since Fate Zero, he's kind of not really had great appearances. If it was just Fate Zero, I'd put him in B tier, but since it's not, I'm gonna put him in mixed, because you know, him being in America didn't really do him any favors, and in Traum he was totally forgettable. Fergus, honestly, I'm putting him in F tier. I don't care for Fergus, really, at all. I mean, this is like a really light, like, I don't know if they belong in the same tier as these four. I don't think, yeah, you know what? Actually, D tier for Fergus. He's not quite as bad as these ones, so D tier for him. Nursery Rhyme, neutral for Nursery Rhyme. Jack the Ripper. I'll put her at C for mixed. Mordred, we definitely like Mordred. The question is how much. It's basically a toss-up between A and B here. I'm gonna say A for Mordred, actually. Nikola Tesla, mixed. Because on the one hand, he has some fun moments, but on the other hand, he keeps getting paired up with Edison, and you know, they have that whole gimmick of alternate current versus direct current. It's just kind of like, yeah, whatever. You know, it's kind of their shtick, but it's starting to get a little old. Paracelsus, neutral. I don't even remember the last time he was in a storyline that and actually did anything of note. Charles Babbage, same thing. Henry Jekyll, same thing. These three, you know, they were all introduced in London, but they're just kind of like, They show up sometimes, but you know, they just don't stand out to me. Fran, B tier. Not the best of starts in Apocrypha. It wasn't terrible. I didn't hate Fran in Apocrypha. Showed up in London. I think the real saving for me was the one that I remember right now is Imaginary Scramble. I liked her in Imaginary Scramble. So she gets B tier. Arjuna. This is all Arjunas, by the way. So this includes Arjuna Alter. He has his moments. That's a tough one. I'm going to say mixed. So C tier, mixed. Meanwhile, his rival Karna is going to B tier because not quite as mixed. He's generally a good guy. Mysterious Heroine X. She's just fun, to be perfectly honest, so I'm also putting her in B tier. Fionn McCool. One of the worst portrayed characters in this whole franchise. Honestly, you know, after all this time, they're not going to do him right. Just bin him. Get him out of here. Brynhild. Regular Brynhild. Well, no, that's all the Brynhilds, actually. Yeah, just Brynhild. She's alright. I'm going to say neutral. Beowulf. When was the last time he even showed up, honestly? I remember he was in America. That was just kind of like, whatever. I'm put him in neutral as well. Ryogi Shiki. Generally positive, so B. Makusashiro, he's C mixed. So, like, he's alright. I think his best event was, the Chaldea Boys, not last year, but, like, the one before, the Phantom Thief one, where you did the heist at the museum. That really was fun. But generally, he's just kind of like, he's alright. Astolfo, A tier. I like Astolfo. I've always really liked Astolfo. This is actually kind of, yeah, you notice the S tier is practically empty at this point. Or, I mean, just has MASH at this point. We haven't seen many of the top tiers yet. Edmond Dantes, that's, honestly, I think I'm kind of neutral on him. I mean, he's I don't know. I'm just kind of neutral on him. Nightingale. I generally like Nightingale, so I'll put her in B. Maeve. Ooh. She's like the epitome of mixed as far as I'm concerned. I really did not like her in Summer 3. I thought she was really obnoxious in Summer 3. But then you had the Grail Live collab event where she was positive. Yeah, she's mixed. C tier. Helena Blavatsky. I'm going to go with neutral. Rama. Also neutral. Li Xuan. Also neutral. And then we have another row. Oh, come on. There we go. Edison. This is a hard one. But, you know, in terms of, like, being down here, hard. Because, I really am not a fan of a lot of the stuff they've done with this character. But I don't do I, really hate him that much? No, I'm putting him in D tier. Geronimo, he shows up every once in a while. But generally, he is going into neutral tier. Billy the Kid, he's alright. I'm gonna put him in B tier, actually. Like, he has his good moments, for sure. Okay, yeah, this list is getting long. Jean Alter. I know, this is not gonna surprise anybody, but Jean, welcome to the top. That's where you belong. Angra Manu from... see, I've never played Ataraxia, Fate Hollow Ataraxia, because, you know, it's not available. I heard they're going to come out with a remaster version of it apparently sometime this year, like they did with the Stay Night, but we'll see. So hopefully I'll maybe get to know him better. But otherwise, he doesn't really have a lot of screen time, so I'm going to put him in neutral. Iskandar, King of Conquerors. I'm going to put him in B tier. I generally like him, but not quite up to this level. Emiya Assassin is kind of distinct from Kiritsugu. He doesn't really show up very often. If he was Kiritsugu, I'd put him in B. But he's not Kiritsugu. He's like this alternate version that we get, and he's like kinda not he's like Kiritsugu, but he didn't meet Iris. I'm gonna put him in mixed, because he's just kind of like, yeah, whatever. 100 Personas. Hassan of the 100 Personas. Neutral. I don't particularly care either way. Irisville... It's kind of the same thing as Kiritsugu in the sense that if it was just Fate Zero, I'd put her in B tier. But I remember her from the... I mean, I wasn't around for the Fate Zero collab. I've seen the footage of it. I've watched it. Somebody else's playthrough of the story. Seems about the... I'm going to put her in B tier. Shuten Doji. She's generally fun when she's on screen, so I'm putting her in B tier. Sanzang, neutral. I don't particularly care either way. Laiko, Minamoto no Raiko. So on the one hand, she was kind of cool in Heian Kyo, but I'm put her in mixed because it's kind of like I think it's her summer shtick that like the overemphasis on I don't know. It's just mixed really. Ibaraki, generally good. She's fun. Fumako Taro, I'm gonna say neutral. Well, I don't hate him. I'm just kind of like, I don't really have a strong opinion. I mean, that's what this tier is for, is I don't really have a strong opinion either way. Ozymandias, he's kind of cool. He's kind of like Gilgamesh light in a way. Like, he's got the arrogance of Gilgamesh, but it's not quite as overbearing. He also doesn't appear very often. I'm put him in neutral. I don't really care. Lancer Artoria, which is separate from Saber Artoria, which is of course way up here. Honestly, she's also kind of mixed, so she's going in the C tier for mixed. Nidokris, up here. She's an A tier for sure. Lancelot, I obviously am not a fan of his depiction. I don't think it's very good. Do I hate him? No, I don't hate Lancelot. Do I like him? No, I don't. I'd say mixed. That seems to be where I'm headed right now. Tristan, that's a tough one. I don't hate him. He was nice he was kind of awful in Camelot, but he was really cool, brief as it was, in Lost Belt 6. So I'm gonna put him in mixed, actually. So Gawain, I generally like Gawain, so I'm gonna put him in B. Serenity, same thing. If she appeared more, she might have ended up in A, but as you may have noticed, it's a degree of like between A and B. It's how much I like them. So I like her, but she's not quite A material. You're probably noticing that there's a lot of people in the middle. That's probably how this list is going to turn out. Tawara Tota, neutral. I don't even remember the last story he was in, if we're being honest. Bedivere, A tier. Bedivere's great. I've always liked Bedivere. Da Vinci, this is grown-up Da Vinci. Generally B tier for the older Da Vinci. Da Vinci Lily, the writer version, is also on this list, so... Ilia, Castor Ilia. See, she's distinct from Stay Night Ilia. She's the Prisma Ilia Cosmo, whatever that anime. I've never seen it. I generally like Ilia. I'm gonna put her in B tier, mainly because I'm thinking of her summer version, and Summer 5 specifically. I thought she was great in Summer 5. I did not see the Prisma Cosmos collab event, so I generally have to watch that at some point. I have to see what that's all about. And because of that, Chloe, I don't know anything about Chloe, so I've heard that she's kind of does some weird shit, but I'm put her in neutral for now. Cleopatra, she doesn't appear very often. Let's see. I'm gonna say neutral, because if she appeared more, maybe I'd have a stronger opinion. I mean, she hasn't been bad, I know that, but she hasn't been like particularly great either. Vlad Extra, I honestly don't care for Vlad Extra. He doesn't appear very often, and when he does, he tends to be a bit weird. Ishtar is regular Ishtar, not Space Ishtar. Space Ishtar is on this list, by the way. I'm gonna put her at mixed, because on the one hand, she's kind of fun. Well, it's like a mixed or B tier for me. This is a tougher one. Because I kind of like her, but I also kind of don't. I'm gonna put her in B tier. You know what? I generally kind of like her, but she's definitely not up here. Enkidu, A tier. No, I don't know, actually. It's kind of like between A and B for Enkidu. Damn, I don't know. B tier then. If I can't think of a strong reason to really like him, then I should put him in B. Quetzalcoatl. I gave Quetz an F in the main video, but I don't hate Quetz, actually. If anything, I actually kind of like her, so she's B. Caster Gilgamesh. A tier. He's frickin' great. Jaguar Warrior. I like whenever she shows up on screen. She's fun, but she is kind of a joke character, so isn't quite, deserving of A tier, but I still like her. Merlin. He's mixed. Big time. Because, he has his fun moments, but he's also a dick. He's Merlin. It's kind of what he does. So he's C tier for mixed. Getia, which is the one beast I put on here. Well, no, there's also like Draco and Tiamat, but Getia as a villain he's alright, but I generally don't like Getia, if we're being honest. He's got the smug, condescending compassion thing going down, where he's like, I am going to remake the world to make it better for you, and I don't care what you think about that attitude going on. So, it's like, I'm doing this for your own good, basically, is what he's got going on. But, whatever. Miyamoto Musashi. A tier. First Hassan, the king of all Hassans. He doesn't appear very often, but he's cool whenever he does. I think I'm gonna put him in A tier, actually. Yep. So, King Hassan, A tier. I like when he doesn't show up very often, but he's cool when he does. So, Mysterious Heroine X Alter. She's also A tier. She's fun whenever she shows up, and I rolled for her largely because of it. We don't see her too often, but I know it's probably real surprising that I would have a high opinion of the resident chocolate freak. Moriarty. I generally like Moriarty. He's a villain, he's a bastard, but he's fun to see when he shows up. So I'm gonna put him in B. Emiya Alter. If it was Shinjuku alone, he would be D. But Seraph was kind of neat. He doesn't appear very often. I'm gonna put him in C tier for mixed, because I don't hate him. He has a decent moment in Seraph, but Heshin Lobo, as somebody who is quite, has made it obvious that I like the doggy, very much a dog person over a cat person. Despite that, there's not really a whole lot of, I'd say kind of neutral for Heshin Lobo. Yanqing, however the frick you say this guy's name. I'm sorry. I'd say I'm also neutral on him. I don't really... Proto-Arthur, also neutral. So we don't see him very often. Hijikata Toshizo from the Shinsengumi is B tier. He's fun. He's always fun to see. Cha-Cha... she has her moments, but I'm gonna put her in mixed because, I don't know, she grates a little bit. She's not my favorite, but I don't hate her either. Melt, I like Melt. A tier. I definitely like Melt. She's just fun, whether it's her normal version or her summer version. Passion Lip. I'm gonna say B for Passion Lip. She's not great, but she's not terrible. Oh, the way I just said that is maybe she doesn't belong in B, actually. I'm gonna put her in neutral, actually. Suzuka. I think her gimmick of speaking with teen slang is kind of grating at times. I think she might be getting a redemption in the upcoming Summer 8 for which we're gonna get in a few months, maybe a month and a half, maybe. So So it's kind of like I'm gonna say mixed for Suzuka. BB, I like BB. Not a lot, not A tier, but I definitely like her, so B tier for her. Session Kiara. She scares me. She's going into the special tier with Kyohime. This servant scares me. She's intriguing, she's interesting when she's on screen, but she scares me. So she's going in the special tier. Scheherazade. Scheherazade, I mean, she was introduced in Agartha, which was not a good start, but she got better over time, so I'm gonna put her in mixed. Like, her, like, constant obsession over death or dying is kind of grating, but her main shining moment was in the Oku, Lost Belt 3.5. So that really helped her. Otherwise, she would have been D tier for me. But the Oku pushed her up. Wuze 10, she was also in Agartha and also wasn't particularly likable in Agartha. And I'd say her redemption was like a mix of Imaginary Scramble and Summer 7. So she's also mixed. Penthesilea, seeing a pattern here, also was in Agartha, also generally not really likable, but then she had the whole Amazones thing, so she's also mixed. But maybe a little bit better than these two for me, but not enough to go up to B. So kind of like, she's like C plus mixed, kind of. Columbus. I don't like frickin' Columbus. I don't hate him, because, you know, he can be kind of... Like, he was probably one of the better parts of Agartha, funnily enough, which is, you know, kind of a low bar, if we're being honest. Agartha was not very good. It's like, it's the septum of the Epic of Remnant chapters. But I don't hate him. And we had that whole bit in Summer 6, which was kind of fun. Sherlock, I generally like Sherlock. I'm put him in B. I don't like really like him because he can be kind of frustrating at times. But I'd say he's more like a B plus, honestly, on this tier. I'm not adding the pluses because this list would have too many frickin' tiers on it. I mean, it already has... I mean, I added one, so it has 8 tiers now. I originally had the 7. Bunyan. Regular Bunyan, not Super Bunyan. Neutral. I don't really have a strong opinion of regular Bunyan. Parvati. It's also neutral. I don't particularly care for Parvati. But I don't hate her. I don't particularly like her either. Tomoe. A tier. Tomoe is great. I've always liked Tomoe. She's actually borderline S tier for me. There's a couple. We're gonna go back and maybe do some reevaluation because our S tier only has 2 characters in it, and you know we're almost through the Epic of Remnant characters, so you know there's a fair number of characters left to go, but Mochizuki Chiome. Generally positive. Atlantis definitely was good for her. Hozoin Inshon, has he really been in anything since Shimosa? I'm put him in neutral. I don't even... He had such a small role in that story, and I don't even remember what else he's in, if we're being honest. Yagyu Munanori, I'd say he's kind of mixed, because on the one hand, I didn't really like him in Shimosa, but on the other hand, when they used him for Saber Wars 2, he was pretty funny. And then in Samurai Remnant, on the one hand, he was kind of cool, but at the same time, when we did the DLC for him, his boss fight, he just would not shut up. I think we had like 4 different boss encounters at the end of his DLC, and it was just like, oh my god, will this please end already? That's mostly what I remember. So he's mixed. Kato Danzo, B tier. Like kind of B plus. I've always liked her. Osakabe Hime. Long name. B tier for much the same reason. When she shows, well, she's kind of like B plus tier, so like she would be higher up here. Maybe I should make a B plus. No, don't make more tiers. This list is gonna be kind of crammed anyway. But yeah, Osakabe Hime, whenever she shows up, is kind of fun. But I don't really like her, so she's not going into A. Cersei, on the other hand, is going into A. I know our viewer Kamikaze, who the resident Cersei hater who watched the streams for Samurai Remnant, is probably going to kill me for that. But I've always liked Cersei. Her real standout moment was the AEN Spring Breeze event with when she meets Odysseus again. That event was a standout for her in particular. I really wish they had rerun that sometime. It's one of my favorite events they've done, actually. Neja. What about Neja? I mean, she was in Salem. She was in Lost Bell 3. She was in Lost Bell 4 and then got corrupted there. Kind of just, I don't really care, honestly, so neutral. Queen of Sheba. AKA like the money grubber who's always doing shady deals. She's basically Caesar again. And like Caesar, get out of here. I don't want to see you anymore. Abigail. I generally like Abigail. I don't like... I mean, she's alright. She's not... I'm gonna say B, but like a B minus, basically. Ereshkigal. Well, I don't know. I don't say much about Ereshkigal, so... But where I put her probably isn't going to surprise that many people. S tier. Ereshkigal is frickin' great. I've always liked Ereshkigal. I don't think she's had a single bad appearance in the entire game. She was great in Babylonia. The Christmas 3 event was also great. Honestly, her worst appearance was Lost Belt 7, but she wasn't even really Ereshkigal there. I have to talk about that when it's time for her video. She was more like Ishtar in Lost Belt 7, but generally I've always liked Ereshkigal, and really liked Ereshkigal, so she's S tier. Katsushika Hokusai, I'm gonna put her in A tier actually, because my first encounter with her was actually Summer 4, and I find her summer version to be particularly hilarious. She was also an imaginary scramble. I liked her in that. I just like her Hokusai. You know, it's really that simple. Semiramis, she was alright in Apocrypha. She's kind of like, Morgan. Kind of reminds me of Morgan, but I don't really like her, but I definitely don't hate her. So she's kind of like in the C plus B minus range. She gets almost no screen time in FGO as part of the problem. I'm gonna put her in kind of the same with Abigail basically. So kind of like her, but not a lot. Asagami Fujino from Garden of Sinners. I have not watched all of Garden of Sinners. I think I only watched the first 4 or 5 movies of it. But and she did her main appearance, I remember, in FGO. I'm already giving away what tier she's going in. She's going in B tier. I did see the movie that she's in, the Garden of Sinners, Kara no Kyokai movie. It's a dark frickin' movie. But I did like her in that. And I also remember her well from Summer 5. I also liked her there. So generally positive. Anastasia is also positive, B tier. I generally kind of liked her in Lost Belt 1. Not a lot, not a little. Her real winning moment was Summer 6. She was great in Summer 6. Atalanta Alter. I put regular Atalanta in the neutral C tier right here. And she's almost in the same place, but she gets a slight bump for Lost Belt 1. That's why she's separate. So I generally like Atalanta Alter a little more than the original. Avikebron or Avisebron, or however the frick you say this guy's name. If this was Apocrypha, screw him. He's a dick. But it's not just Apocrypha, it's also Lost Belt 1, where he massively redeemed himself. I still don't really like him, so C for mixed. Salieri. He's alright. I'm going to say neutral for Salieri, because I don't really have a strong opinion of Salieri. Ivan the Terrible, we rarely see this guy. He was in Lost Belt 1. I mean, he almost feels like a force of nature rather than a character. Yeah, I'm going to say neutral. I don't have a strong opinion of him. Achilles, I'm going to say B for Achilles. I generally like him. Chiron. This might seem a little weird. I don't like Chiron. He just rubs me wrong. He's rubbed me wrong since Apocrypha. I didn't like that he basically, interfered with, the real world. Like, isn't it like a thing with that servants shouldn't, they're dead, so they shouldn't try to change the modern world, and yet he basically put himself in the middle of a power vacuum in Apocrypha and basically, removed the magic from his master. He just rubs me wrong. But you know who really rubs me wrong is this frickin' guy right here, Sieg. If this was Apocrypha, he would need a tier by himself below F tier. But the Apocrypha collab did help him quite a bit. I still don't want to see him again, though. Goodbye. Okita Alter. I don't like her quite as much as regular Okita. See, regular Okita is like A+. Borderline S tier for me. Okita Alter is just like A-, B+ for me, kind of like... Yeah, I'm going to say A tier. I guess they ended up in the same place after all. Okada Izo, B tier, because he's fun. Whenever he shows up on screen, he's generally fun, but he's not, like, top tier for me. Sakamoto Ryoma, he's kind of mixed for me, if we're being honest. Because on the one hand, he has his moments, but on the other, it's like, he's really shady. He's really, like, I don't entirely, like... It's like they don't really know how to use him very well. I'm just not sure about him. So, mixed. Kind of like him, kind of don't like him. His companion, Oreo, on the other hand, is another story entirely. She's hilarious. And she's going straight to A tier. And that's actually why I made a point of making her separate from Ryoma. Because she's great. Him, I'm more mixed about. Napoleon is also mixed. I don't remember Lost Belt 2 very well, but they don't really use him that well. I mean, for a guy with his standing in the historical record, he could be a lot, but I think most people just remember him as the guy who hits on everybody, and it's just like, eh. I mean, Napoleon did get around a little bit, but like he's not, Maeve, somebody like that. So it's whatever. Sigurd, I would have put in like almost disliked here if it was Lost Belt 2, but Summer, like kind of the mixed dislike, but Summer 5 helped him. So I'm going to put him in... This one's hard. This one's really hard, actually. I'm going to put him in mixed, B tier, or C tier. That's just... But it doesn't feel quite right for him to be there. But, The Valkyries. Okay, so I did not separate all the Valkyries, because to be perfectly honest, the Valkyries are neutral to me, all of them. I just, like, I don't really care for any of them. But I don't dislike them either, so they're just kind of all neutral to me. Scotty is B tier. She's fun when she shows up. Lost Belt 2 is probably one of the weakest of the Lost Belts, if we're being honest. But I liked her in Imaginary Scramble. I liked her in Summer 7, so she gets B tier. Summer Jean. Oh, Summer Jean. So I put regular Jean in B tier, but Summer Jean is going to A tier. This is one of the 2 summer servants I put in distinct from their regular versions. The other one is Carmilla down here. I like Summer Jean. She's absolutely hilarious. Sitonai, I don't really have an opinion of Sitonai. Xiang Yu is I say mixed for him because I like don't really like him a lot, but I just, yeah, he's mixed is probably where he fits. Prince of Lanling, I'm gonna put in B tier because I generally like him. You know, he had his moments in LB 3. Summers 5 helped him a lot, and most recently in Ordeal Call 1. God, that was so... Man, he got absolutely screwed in that story. It seems like his destiny is to get screwed, but he's not a bad guy. He's a pretty decent guy, generally. So it's like, he deserves better. But I have no reason to hate him, and he's generally a good guy. So I'm putting him in B tier. Qin Lang Yu, however, I'm sorry, I'm terrible at Chinese names. Don't kill me. Neutral. I don't even remember her outside of Lost Belt 3. And she was kind of like the lawful neutral type. I serve the Emperor and, yeah, whatever. Qin Shi Huang, mixed. Because on the one hand, he's kind of got on the one hand, he's got Lelouch's voice actor from Code Geass, so he's got points. But on the other hand, I really did not like the regime he set up in Lost Belt 3, which was basically, his personal plaything while he kept the masses hopped up on drugs. I'm going to talk more about that when it's time to do a video on him specifically. There are some really weird people I used to know that actually think that Lost Belt 3 is like the best Lost Belt to live in. I think those people are on the substances that Qin Shi Huang was giving his people, because I don't see it. That place was so screwed. It's not Lost Belt 6, obviously, which is like the worst one you could possibly live in. We actually had a conversation about this during one of the streams for XCOM 2, I believe, like which was the worst Lost Belts to live in. I think our final... I know I'm getting off track. I think our final conclusion was that Lost Belt 7 was probably the best, and then it was probably 2... and then 1, so from best to worst. 7, 2, 1, and then it dropped a lot and went to 3. No, wait. I forgot 5. Forget it. Okay, no. Let me start over. So 7, 5, Atlantis and Olympus. 2, 1, and then 3, and then 4, and then 6 was dead last. I think that's what the order was that we kind of agreed on during that stream. Yume Ren, B tier. She's fun whenever she shows up. She's kind of like B+, honestly. Her big winning point was Summer 5. That was one of my favorite events. You know what? Fuck it. She's going to A tier. Because Summer 5 pushes her over. She's just fun, generally. Red hair... See, okay, so when I have red hair out here, red hair was in Lost Belt 3, and like he's like replaced Lu Bu, basically. And if I was thinking of red hair, I'd put him in neutral because I don't care. But if I was thinking of Red Rabbit from Lost Belt 6, he was great. So let's assume that I'm talking about red hair, and that Lu Bu is... where did I put Lu Bu? Oh yeah, he's in dislike. I don't care for Lu Bu. They didn't do him very well. I'm going to say B. He's like B- tier for me. Bradamante. I'm going to say mixed for her. Because on the one hand, she can be kind of fun, but she's also kind of an idiot. So it's kind of like, Benny Enma. I did like Benny Enma in her event. And she had a brief but notable appearance in LB7, so I'm going to put her in B tier. She's like B- for me. Miu Edefelt, neutral. Murasaki Shikibu is B tier. mainly because of Summer 5. You're probably noticing a thing that I really like Summer 5, so the servants that got to shine in Summer 5 generally get a bump because of that experience. Which is also kind of highlights a point. If you're a character in a good story, I generally will have a better opinion of you. But if you're a bad character in a bad story, like Caesar or Orion or Sieg or Fionn, you're going to the bottom. King Protea, kind of, it's like neutral, slightly good. She's like B minus for me, so I'm gonna say B minus for her. Kama was just an Ordeal Call 1. I liked her in the Oku, I liked her in Summer 6, and I liked her in Ordeal Call 1 in particular. She's going to A tier. Simai, or Reina's, actually is kind of the same deal as Waver in the sense that, you know, they say it's Simai, but it's totally not. I mean, I think she's slightly better at being Simai than Waver is at being Zhuge Liang. I guess I'm neutral on her. I don't really have a strong opinion of her, no matter what. Astrea. Astrea is also kind of neutral, for being honest. And actually the same goes for Gray. I don't really remember the case files, if we're being honest. I mean, I did do the case files. It was like a year or so ago when they did the rerun. They just don't stand out a lot to me. I mean, Astrea does in a gameplay sense because she's fantastic as a single target, but Jinako Karigiri, she's mixed. So on the one hand, you know, she's kind of fun, but she's also kind of like, I don't entirely like this character. So C tier for mixed. Lakshmi Bai, B tier. I mainly remember her from Lost Belt 4 and her interlude, but I liked her in both of them, so I'm gonna put her in B. William Tell, also B tier, for much the same reason. For Lost Belt 4 and his own interlude, so different interlude from Lakshmi Bai, and he was also in Summer 5, which, you know, he was like that scene that parodied the Shining. Never seen that movie, but, you know, that the face in the broken doors, you know, kind of infamous, so recognized it. Asfataman, I'm sure I'm saying that name wrong. I do apologize. I generally liked him, but he's like B minus tier for me. Asclepius, yeah, he's very much kind of in the same boat as Asfataman. Mori Nagayoshi. Mori Nagayoshi's fun. He's very fun, actually. I'm gonna put him in A tier, actually, because he's always fun. NES, I know part of it is because he's a psycho and he is always talking about murdering people, and yeah, I know that's a bit that I do in the streams, but you know, in much the same way, Nagao Kagetora, Uesugi Kenshin. She was actually the first event servant that I got in the entire game, so she's kind of special to me in that regard. But I really liked her in Gota Gota 4, and I know she's going to highlight in Gota Gota 8 later this year, because she gets a ruler version. So I'm looking forward to that, to seeing how she shows up there. Da Vinci Rider, or rather, you know, Lily Da Vinci. So Da Vinci since the second story arc. I put regular, you know, older Da Vinci in B tier, but Da Vinci Lily's going into A tier. Part of that is because she was like the gem of my Chaldea roster early on. She's still my best rider by far, but I like her. I think the main buff for her is Lost Belt 6. We haven't gotten to the LB6 characters yet, but you're gonna, like, you probably started to notice with Summer 5, people who were in Summer 5, I really liked them. People who are in LB6, I tend to really like as well. Jason. Jason. Now, if this was Okeanos, he'd be straight F. If this was Atlantis, he would be like B, B+, A-, because he was great there. I'm going to put him in B because he started bad, but whenever he shows up in events, it's generally going to be something fun. So I'm going to put Jason in B. I don't like him. Let's put it that way. It's more like when he shows up, I think he's funny. He's not somebody I'd want to be friends with, but as a character, which is, what this is about, I generally like seeing him around. Paris, I don't care about Paris. He's neutral. Gareth. It's borderline S tier, but Gareth is great. Bartholomew, I don't really like Bartholomew, but I don't hate him. But he was also kind of cool in LB 5, so it's like, I'm gonna put him in D tier. I don't really like him, but I'd say he's like D plus, if we're being honest. Chen Gong. Chen Gong appeared in LB3, but he rarely ever appears. I'm gonna put him in C for neutral, because I don't really have a strong opinion either way. Charlotte is straight up to A tier. Charlotte was absolutely wonderful in Lost Belt 5, as she was also wonderful in Summer 6 as well. She's borderline S tier for me, actually. So she's definitely a favorite, or one of the. She's getting close, but not quite. Salome, I wouldn't like, well, honestly, she belongs in this tier. She belongs in the scary tier. But as a general opinion, I'd say it's probably more a mix. But since we made this tier, let's put people in it that belong there. Summer Carmilla from Summer 8. Now I put regular Carmilla in. Did I put her in neutral or mixed? I put her in mixed. Summer Carmilla though was fun. Was really fun. The standout moment, of course, is when she kept running over Elizabeth with the car. I don't think she's quite A tier, so I'm gonna put her in B tier. But I definitely like Summer Carmilla more than I like regular Carmilla. And also the whole Phantom Thief thing was generally pretty fun. Space Ishtar. I did like Space Ishtar. I mean, she's only really in her some Saber Wars 2 event, but I'm gonna say B. Kind of hovering on B plus because she was great in her one cool event, but she doesn't really appear outside of it. In much the same vein, I would put Calamity Jane as being on the same level. I like Space Ishtar more than I like Calamity Jane, but I'd say they're both generally B tier because I do like both of them, as limited as their appearances have been. Super Orion, aka Orion from Lost Belt 5. Now I put regular Orion and Artemis in F tier because I don't like them. But Super Orion is another matter entirely. I'm gonna put him in B tier because I don't really like him, but I do like him. So I'm gonna put him in B tier. Mandricardo. He's like Charlotte, and also thanks to Atlantis, he's borderline S tier for me. Mandricardo is great. Europa, I'm say neutral. I don't particularly care for Europa either way. Yang Guifei, B tier. Mostly I remember her from Imaginary Scramble, and she was great in Imaginary Scramble, so I'm gonna put her there. It also helps that, when I did a one-off roll for her just for a goof, I got her. So, positive feelings around there. Sei Shonagon is going straight up to... Damn. You know what? I'm putting her in S tier. I don't think there's been a single appearance where that Sei Shonagon is made that I have not thought was absolutely hilarious. I mean, she has way too much energy for me, but She's fun. She's always been fun. I've always really liked her. So it also, again, like with Yang Guifei, it also helped that she was really, really nice to me when I threw a few rolls at her. I got her to MB3. Odysseus. I'm gonna say B tier for him. I mean, there was Atlantis, which, you know, he was there, but the real winner for him is, like with Cersei, the AEN Spring Breeze event is the real winner for him. The Dioscuri. Get out of here. I don't want to see you guys ever again. Kynus, I'm gonna say B tier for Kynus. Or Kynus. It would have been lower before Lost Spell 5, but afterwards got a bump. And generally, she's kind of like, you know, Mordred, but, you know, she's very similar to Mordred. Not at the same tier as Mordred, because Mordred is up here in A tier, but I generally like Kynus. Voyager, see, Voyager was nice to me, like Seishon Nagon and Yang Guifei were. And the Fate Requiem collab event was kind of like, it was kind of mid, if we're being honest. I don't have a strong memory of him, so I think I'm gonna put him in neutral. And along the same lines, Kijo Koyo and Utsumi, also Utsumi Aris. That one's tougher because she was in Summer 7, and she was kind of fun in Summer 7, so it's like, I'm gonna put her in B tier. Because these two, they haven't gotten a lot of real screen time since. I mean, Voyager was in the Phantom Thief event, but that was more of a highlight for Amako Sashiro and Sanson and people like that. And Kijo Koyo, she's the dinosaur lady. Aside from that, I hardly remember her. Castoria. There's only one tier where Castoria belongs, and it is S tier. Not quite at the LB6 characters yet, but, you know, we're starting to see them. One by one, they're coming up. Himiko. I do like Himiko. I'm going to say A for Himiko. But kind of like A minus for her. So she's cool. I do like her. It does help that I'm a fan of her voice actress. Himiko's voice actress plays a lot of characters that I really, really like. Rika from Higurashi, Bernkastel from Yume Neko, Suzuha from Steins Gate. The list goes on and on and on. So I'm kind of biased towards generally liking the character. But also in Yamatai Koku, Gura 5, she was fun. I wish she'd appear more. But in the one event where she really where she really appeared and got a lot of screen time, she was great. So I'm putting her in A tier. Saito Hajime. He was also in Gura 5, and he was great. I'm putting him in B tier. Actually, on that same... No, let's wait. Let's do them in order. Let's not do people out of order. I was just thinking about Yamanami Keisuke, who was kind of like his partner in Gura 5. But he's later on the list, so we'll wait until we actually get to him. He's probably going to end up in the same place, if we're being honest. Oda Nobukatsu. So on one hand, he kind of is in the same tier as like Jason for me, because I don't really like him. I think his sister fixation on Nobu is kind of tiring. But on the other hand, when he shows up, it tends to be a good sign that fun things are going to happen. So kind of like with Jason, I'm going to put him in B tier. I don't really like him, but you know, when he shows up, well, for one, if he shows up, it usually means Nobu's going to show up, and Nobu is up here in A tier for a reason. Yeah, I generally like Nobukatsu. Gura 5 really helped him out a lot. That was a great event for him. It also helps that I have like 12,000 Nobukatsu. Oh, reminds me. So this is a gameplay tip. So for those of you who have friend points and are wondering about a good time to roll friend points, do not roll your friend points on NA until later this year, because later this year we're going to get Gura 8. So about I don't know if it'll be in late October, November. It depends on when exactly they release it for us. But when Gura Gura 8 comes out, we are going to get... Nobukatsu's going to come back, is going to be in the friend pool. They're also going to have those craft essences that give XP. So when Gura Gura 8 happens, that's when I'm going to roll all my friend points that I have. I think I've got about 9 million right now. So, gameplay tip for free in this video. I mean, this isn't going to work for people who see it after this video after Gura Gura 8, but, you know, you got 4 or 5 months until then, so probably closer to 5, so... Anyway, Van Gogh. A tier. Van Gogh was great in Imaginary Scramble. Hasn't gotten a lot of appearances outside of that. There was the Valentine's scene and interludes, of course, but Van Gogh is great. So A tier for me. Easy A tier. Nemo. I do like Nemo. I really do like him. But is he A tier or is he B tier? That's what I'm pondering right now. I'm gonna say A tier, actually. Nemo's great. Ashia Doman. Oh, God. This might be the Jason Nobukatsu thing again, because on the one hand, Ashia Doman is a bastard. Like a really terrible frickin' person, especially in Shimosa and Yuga Kachetra, Lost Belt 4, Lost Belt 5, and then Heian Kyo, and then, you know, but then he's fun in Summer 6 and Summer 7, so I think I'm gonna put him in B tier. If only again with Jason and Nobukatsu, I don't like them, but when they show up, fun things happen, so it's like I associate them with fun times, so I'm gonna put him in B tier, simply because, you know, it means something fun's gonna happen. I guess you could say it's kind of like the love to hate is how they got up here. Watanabe no Tsuna, I hardly even remember this guy. I'm putting him in neutral for C tier. I don't even remember him. Ibuki, I did not separate Summer Ibuki, but if it was regular Ibuki, I mean, in Heian Kyo, she was kind of forgettable. And in Tunguska, well, Tunguska was kind of forgettable in general, for being honest. Wasn't that great either, but she made a good showing in Summer 7. So I'm going to say B tier for her. She was also in Samurai Remnant as one of the DLC. She was like the boss of the tournament DLC that we did there. So I'm going to say B tier for her. She's like more like B-, but she's still up there. Vitra. I mostly remember her from the Christmas event. Was that Christmas 5 or Christmas 6? The one with Santa Carna. I'd say B tier for her, but like B-, because she was fun, but she hasn't gotten many appearances, so it's kind of like... Senji Muramasa has the distinct pleasure of being in Shimosa, in Olympus, and above all, Avalon Lefay. This one is tough for me because it's like a question of, is he A tier or is he S tier? Because I like S tier. I'm going to put him in S tier because I really do like Muramasa. These two, Castoria and Muramasa, together were a great pair. And they help each other a lot. So I guess, in a sense, Castoria helps boost Muramasa into S tier because of Lost Belt 6. Kichi Hogen. I do like Kichi Hogen. I'm going to put her in B. She Little Big Tengu event, that was pretty fun. But her other appearances outside of that, it's just been kind of like one-off appearances. But the one event where she focused, she's kind of like Himiko in that sense. But I just like Himiko a little more. Anyway, so B tier for her. Karen Hortensia. Again, like with Angra Mainyu, I have not played Ataraxia. The difference is that Karen was the focus of the Valentine's event, and I thought she was absolutely hilarious. So she's going into B tier. I should play Ataraxia. I mean, I'll probably have to wait until they remaster it and release it on Steam, but Galatea. I remember her from the event that she debuted in, kinda, and I kinda liked it. but I don't really... Has she been in anything since then? I know I didn't roll for her for two reasons. First, because she's Gen Pool, and I figure I'll get her eventually. Of course, I don't have Ozymandias, and he's Gen Pool. I still don't have him. It's almost been 4 years since I started playing the game. I'm gonna put her in B tier as well, but she's like B-. Miss Crane, on the other hand. She, like Galatea, was... I mostly know her from one event, the Grail Live event, but she was great in that. I'm putting her in A tier. I should rewatch that event sometime. That was a fun one. The Grail Live event, all those costumes that they added. And now here we are, Lost Belt 6. Don't have a lot of characters left on the list here, but you know, got some memorable ones. Starting off, Morgan. This probably does not surprise anybody. Barcast. Borderline S tier, honestly. She's definitely A tier. Barcast is fantastic. Bavanshi, her personality's kind of foul, but, you know, she's also fun to watch. So it's like, I'm going to put her in B tier. Because I do like her, but like, I guess it's not quite the Jason Nobukatsu Ashiadoman thing, but I definitely don't like her as much as Barcast. Melusine. My comedy avatar. The character I use as the face of this channel. So clearly, she belongs in S tier, right? No, she doesn't. She does belong in A tier, but she's not one of my favorite characters. And for people who have been on streams have heard me say that, you know, so that won't surprise them, but for many of you who haven't, that probably comes as a shock. The reason why I used Melu as the comedy avatar, the term I use, is because I find her facial expressions to be absolutely hilarious. And that's why I started throwing them into the videos, and then it kind of became part of the identity, you know? But she's not my favorite character. I really like her, but she's not S tier. Percival, though, is A tier. I mean, I only really remember him from LB6, but he was fantastic in LB6, so that's mostly what I remember him for. Koyanskaya. Oh, crap. Okay, now, there's a lot of people out there that have some interesting things. Like, I feel like a lot of people would put Koyanskaya in, like, high A tier or S tier because, A, she's a Tamamo, she's, like, you know, attractive and all that. But her personality is absolutely frickin' garbage. Her I can't get this out of my system. Her very first appearance in the Lost Belt prologue, she beat up Foe. And I still have never forgiven her for that, to be perfectly honest. You don't mess with the Foe. Like, Foe, by the way, is not on this list. Foe is S tier. Like, I only have servants that you can have in your roster. Well, Gatia's on here too, but if Foe was on this list, he'd be an S tier. And Koyanskaya messed with the Foe. She would have been straight in F tier, but she's gotten a little better over time. She's going to D tier. Habatrot. Habatrot is going to A tier. She's like the one big LB6 character I still haven't done a video on. Habatrot's wonderful. What more needs to be said, really? There nothing else needs to be said. Oberon, the last of the LB6 characters. My opinion on Oberon is, you know, Oberon is S tier. Honestly, Oberon is he's fantastic. I really have always liked Oberon, and he and Morgan and really the whole cast of LB6 made that story, but I can't imagine it without him. Jacques de Molay. I'm put Jacques in B tier. I mostly remember her from the Halloween event, the Cinderella Elizabeth Halloween event, which I really liked, by the way. She was alright. I mean, she kind of like played the villain and then, you know, got brutalized when she's like a B minus, I think. So I don't like really like her, but she's like, you know, it's a bit positive. So B minus tier. Zenobia, I like a bit more, but she's also a B tier. She's going in the same place. She's somebody I do want to do a video on, though. That one, unfortunately, will be a little heavy because I have to talk about Palmyra, of course, because she was Queen of Palmyra, and unfortunately, that place was destroyed in 2015. Not completely, but anyway. Izumo no Okuni. I like her, but I'm gonna say B tier for her because she's not like top tier. Like she's not A tier for me. She's B tier for me. Ranmaru was kind of fun. So we're actually starting to get to the point where, so like Jacques de Molay, this is when I was like, when these servants came out on NAs, we're starting to get to the point when I was making the videos now. I thought about, so I made the Nobu video in preparation for Gura 6 to come out, and I thought that my next video might be on Ranmaru. But then when I saw what Ranmaru was like, that she's basically, you know, mysterious heroine, mysterious, you know, one of the servant verse characters, I realized, well, what's the point of doing a video on Ranmaru? She's obviously going to get an F. Or, you know, I mean, maybe there's a bit more to it, but I do like, I'm putting Ranmaru in B tier, but she's one of the characters, like, I thought about, like, should I even do a video on her? It's that's the kind of thinking I'm on. It's like, there's a couple characters that are like this, actually, for me. Waver is another one. Simayi, Reynes, and Ranmaru, like characters where it's like, you know, I say I want to do a video on everybody, but do I really want to spend all the time on characters where it's so blatantly obvious that these, you know, that their accuracy is just like non-existent, that they're not even trying, basically? It's like, Taigong Wang. Nope. He was alright. He was probably one of the better parts of Tunguska. I'd say he's like a B minus tier. So I don't really remember him having an appearance after that, but he's alright. Dobrynya, I mean, I definitely don't like seeing, I mean, she's a victim of unfortunate timing, unfortunately. The JP server, they couldn't have known what was about to happen. But I don't hate Dobrynya. That's the thing. She's not a terrible character. I'm going to put her in mixed, honestly. I don't hate her, but I don't like her. So, but I don't like really dislike her either. Epestion. I must say it's kind of along the same lines as the other Case Files characters. Like Simayi, Astraya, and Gray. I don't really remember her very well. So I'm going to put her in neutral. Bazette, or Mananan Maclear. Again, not played Ataraxia, so I'm not familiar. I know she's basically like one of, if not the main character in that story, along with Karen and Angramanyu. I generally like what I see with her, though, but it's kind of like I'm not sure if she belongs in B tier. I kind of want to put her in B tier, but, you know, it almost doesn't feel fair because of the, like, I haven't read the main story that she's in, so it's like, you know, it's almost like I shouldn't have put her on this list at all, but I'm gonna put her in B tier, but like very conditional on Ataraxia, because she did have the Valentine's event, and so did Karen. I mean, they were a year apart. I don't know. That's okay. If I'm this uncertain, I'm just gonna put her in neutral. If I'm this uncertain about putting her in B, just put her in neutral. Because I definitely don't have, like, mixed... Like, she's not... I don't dislike her. Trung Sisters, on the other hand, is an easy B tier. I liked them in their events. It also, maybe my opinion is a little colored because the Trong Sisters video is my most watched video of all the Accuracy series, because the way the NA localizers decided to name the character, they used the Vietnamese spelling for Haba Trong, and so I named the video that, the title of the video that, and it pulled a ton of viewers from Vietnam, which is why my Trong Sisters video has way more views than my usual videos. But even for their normal events, I liked them in that event. I thought they were good. They're basically Boudica as Boudica should have been, as far as I'm concerned. Tai Sui, on the other hand, I feel like belongs in neutral because he showed up for about 5 minutes in that event, and he's had a few like tiny pop-ins here and there since, but he just hasn't had enough time to cook. He really hasn't. Super Bunyan. Get the frick out of here. I cannot stand Super Bunyan. Absolutely not. Like that event, like when I was playing through that event, it was like genuinely like, oh my god, I can't stand this frickin' character. Like they're almost like, a tier below. It's really bad. So definitely F tier. The Daikokuten, the bunny people, I chose their first ascension sprite because their final ascension has like the whole building that they're in. You can't even really see them. I don't really remember them very well. I think that's part of the problem, is that since I disliked Super Bunyan so much, I mostly remember that, and I don't really remember these two. Or, Mary Anning, on the one hand, she's kind of in the same place. Like, I don't really, but on the other hand, she has a doggy, and, well, you know how I feel about doggies. Can't let that, nope, she's still neutral. She needs more time to cook, I think, and preferably away from Super Bunyan. Konstantinos the 11th is... Ooh, this is going to be hard, because I don't know if he's B tier or if he's A tier, because I like him. But do I like him that much is the question. I'm thinking no, honestly. Probably B plus for him, but he's a great character. One of my more disappointing videos, unfortunately. I thought that video, it didn't get as many views as I hoped it would. I put a lot of effort into his video because I thought he was gonna be kind of popular, and it was a flop. There's been a couple videos like that where I thought oh, a lot of people are gonna watch this video because people like this character, and then they didn't. Stolfo was another one like that. Kamazots was another one. I'm very happy Nero wasn't like that. At least people are watching the Nero video. But yeah, he's like B plus range for me. He's definitely a higher level. Definitely. Where does he belong up there? I mean, he's like borderline A for me. You know what? Fuck it. Put him in A tier. He's not like... I do like the... and now I'm torn if he really belongs in A tier. Oh. This list is hard, in case you haven't noticed. Pondering. I'll just leave him there for now. Charlie, on the other hand, no problem. A tier. Charlie's great. Roland, I mean, his nudist tendencies are a little screwy, but I generally like him, so I'm gonna put him in B. His best moment, of course, was his final stand in Traum, where, basically when he chose to sacrifice himself so they could open the gate. So I liked how they did that. I mean, he's still kooky, but I mean, all the Charlemagne paladins are kooky in this game. Kriemhild, A tier. I like Kriemhild quite a bit. I grailed her to 100, actually. She's kind of like one of my go-to... It's not just for gameplay reasons. I liked her character in Traum, but for gameplay reasons, she's also really useful. So, for those of you who watched the Ordeal Call 1 streams, you noticed that when fights got a little more serious, I tended to bring her out to for her defense removal, and anyway. So, A tier for her. Moriarty Ruler. Now, I put Moriarty, normal Moriarty, I believe I put him in B tier, yeah. But Moriarty Ruler, honestly, I didn't really like him that much. I'm putting him in mixed, because he was just kind of to me. So that's why I separated him from regular Moriarty, who I always like seeing. He's fun. But Moriarty Ruler, so far, I don't really care. Don Quixote, A tier. He was great. I know we're gonna get a ticket later on down the line for a 4-star ticket. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna use mine to get him because I didn't roll for him. I did roll for the Charlemagne Kriemhild banner, but the banner with Don Quixote and I don't remember who else was on it. I didn't roll for it, so I think I'm going to use my ticket to get him because he was great. He's absolutely... Well, him and Sancho's, both of them were great. Zhang Jue, I say mixed for him. It wasn't terrible, but I didn't really like him either. Kyokutai, Bakin, I don't even remember this person's frickin' name. If we're being honest. The person from the dog event, they're definitely not up there. I'm gonna say neutral if I can't even remember this person's frickin' name. That's not a good sign. That's a really not a good sign, is it? But I don't hate him. It's very much a neutral. It's like if I can't even remember this person's name properly, then I clearly don't have a very strong opinion. So they belong in neutral. Minamoto no Tametomo. I'm also putting him in neutral. I mean, he was in the same event. He was in Traum, of course, but he was less a character and more a weapon that was used by Kriemhild and Zhang Jue. But I don't really, I don't have a strong opinion of him. Arcoid, and Ciel is the last entry on this list, by the way. Because I did include a few JP characters that I'm familiar with, so like Samurai Remnant characters are also on here. Arcoid is A tier. She's great, and I rolled her specifically because I've watched playthroughs of Tsukihime Remake, and I really liked her story. So I'm putting her in A tier. She hasn't really gotten like a good appearance in FGO yet that I've seen. I think she might appear in Ordeal Call 3, my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong, but so she might finally be getting a proper appearance in FGO. But so mostly this admittedly is more based on Tsukihime than it is on FGO. Shufu. Definitely high. Definitely in like the AB range. The question is like what kind? I'm gonna say B for Shufu. Summer 5 was great. Traum was just say B. B is good for Shufu. I like Shufu. Lady Avalon. Now I separated her from Merlin. Merlin's mixed. Lady Avalon I like a little bit more than Merlin. She's going to B tier. Okay, Sen no Rikyu, the tea lady. She's kind of been used as my punching bag in a lot of ways because, when I basically make the argument of, FGO is, it's kind of like the point where I was like, okay, I know this is a Japanese game. I know they're going to have more Japanese characters than everyone else, but why is a frickin' tea ceremony guy added to the game when Genghis Khan, Augustus Caesar, and people like that are still not in it? It's like, come on. So I admit I have an inherent, but that's an inherent bias against the presence of the character. It's not a bias against the character themselves. So, but still, I mean, I don't hate them. I know that. I don't dislike them. I must say it's kind of mixed because they were all right. They were good to go to 7. I don't have a lot of good. I don't have a. Yeah, mixed. Yamanami Keisuke from Good to Go to 5 and Good to Go to 7. He was. I mean, so I put Saito up in B, if I remember. Yeah, Saito's in B, and I did kind of like him. So, but he's like B minus for me. So Yamanami is B minus for me. Io, on the other hand, is probably more like regular B. Huyan Zhuo. Again, sorry, Chinese pronunciations are terrible. She was in the Halloween event. Honestly, I didn't really like her. I really didn't. I thought her gimmick of, like, you know, please praise me or I'm gonna start to cry was just like, come on. Like, it didn't help. That was, you know, like, especially compared to the previous Halloween event, which was the Cinderella Halloween. This one was a flop, and she did not help its case. Huyang, whatever this guy, neutral. He's just like this other character. I don't even remember his frickin' name. So he's a neutral. Britomart. I'm also going to put her in neutral. I don't really remember her very well. So, I mean, I know she was in the Tamlin Cup, but, you know, that's a lotto event. The story there was so thin that it was just kind of like, Grigory Rasputin. Now, part of this is going to be biased. Like, on the one hand, I need to separate this guy from Kirei. If this was Kirei Kotomine, he'd be A tier, for sure. Because as much as he's a bastard, he's fun to watch. He's like Ashiadoman for me, but better. But this is Rasputin, so it's not quite Kirei. So it's like, I don't think he really belongs in A, is the thing. Does he belong in B? Probably. I'm gonna put him in B. Tezcatlipoca, which is one of my top performing videos ever, and a lot of people, I think a big part of that is because I said that he was a video I was very much looking forward to doing, and he was great in LB7. I'm putting him in A tier. That probably shouldn't be a surprise. Tenochtitlan, much the same reason, is also A tier. She was great. Kukulkan wasn't quite as good, though. I'm putting her in B tier. Johanna, Popes Johanna. I generally liked her. Mostly Traum, but she also was in the had her own Valentine's event. But honestly, I hardly even remember it. It was only a few months ago, and it was like, oh yeah, she was a Valentine's event. It's like, I know it was the statue, and she's in B tier. Takasugi Shinsaku. This guy is mixed, borderline dislike. He's just like, honestly, I'm gonna put him in dislike. I don't particularly like him, if we're being honest. Tiamat. Now, I didn't put the Tiamat. I know I put Getty on here, but so this Tiamat represents all the Tiamats, both the Babylonia one and the Lilum Harlot one, and I'm putting her in B tier. Also, going into B tier is Draco, but like borderline B+. I actually kind of liked Draco. It's probably one of the few appearances of Nero that I actually liked. Yeah, I know I didn't put Nero in the fail tier, but Draco, I did like Draco, so I'm putting Draco in B tier. Locusta is also going into B tier. Lilum Harlot was a great event. It released at a bad time because, you know, I had personal stuff going on at the time. If you guys followed the community posts, you know what I mean. But Lilum Harlot was a cool event. I still have to start working on the Draco video properly, but, you know, I got to do this video first, of course, because I got to release it first. Kashin Koji, honestly, I don't even really remember her still. I mean, okay, well, there's a reason for that, to be perfectly honest. I still have not watched so I was in a, like, kind of a rushy situation when that lotto event came out, and I skipped over the story, telling myself that I would watch those story events at a later date. I still haven't. I need to do that.
and which is kind of embarrassing because I think the grand total of the story in that Lotto event's only like an hour of screen time. So she's a neutral for now because I literally don't know what she's like. But anyway, now we're getting to the ordeal call. Bima. I kind of liked him. I'm gonna say he's B. He was all right. I mean, he wasn't like a real standout, but like I'm curious to see what else they'll do with him. He was cool. Duryodhana though is he's like mixed, bordering on dislike. He was endearing, but I also kind of didn't like him. So he's like in the mixed tier, but he's like C minus. He's borderline D as far as I'm concerned. Durga. We didn't see a lot of Durga. I mean, she seemed more like a weapon than a person, if we're being honest. Kali, of course, is utterly psycho, which, the psycho in me kind of likes, but I'm going to put her in neutral for now because I think we need to see more of her, or I need to see more of her first. Okay, now, as you may have noticed, that was all of the characters that have been released on NA at this time. But you notice, I still have some characters left here. These are characters that, so, first one is Noknarib. I'm mainly thinking of her from LB6. She's going to be the event servant in Summer 8, but for now, I'm mostly thinking of her as her LB6 version, and she's going in B tier, because she was pretty cool there. It's definitely my favorite version of Maeve. Sugitani Zenjubo is going to be a 3-star that comes out later this year. It kind of reminds me of the Tea Lady situation in a sense of, you're bringing us a ninja that took a shot at Oda Nobunaga and failed, but we don't have Augustus or Yi Sun Shin or so many other characters. It's just like, I'm going to say neutral for them because they were in Traum. We didn't know who they were back then, but they came out on JP. We have their names, so we know who they are now. I'm going to say neutral for now. Yamato Takeru from Fate Samurai Remnant. We're getting the Samurai Remnant collab at the start of next year. So they added these characters to FGO, but as you may remember, Samurai Remnant was the first game we streamed on the channel, so I'm familiar with her. They're very gender ambiguous with Takeru. I definitely liked the character, but I don't know if it's like A. I don't know if I'd go that. No, you know what? I think I would actually. I'd say A for Takeru. And actually, we're not there yet. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do the. I'm putting Yurie with her. Because I also like Yurie. Yes, I'm doing my tier list out of order. I'm making one exception. We're almost at the end. Leave me alone. Ushigozen, which is like Raiko, but, not Raiko. I mean, I put Raiko at mixed, but her character was basically har, I want to kill everybody. Or I will bring peace to the world by killing everybody, basically. And it's just like, whatever. So she's going in D tier. Yui Shosetsu, though, was also great. A tier for Yui Shosetsu. I don't know what they're going to do for the Samurai Remnant collab, so me putting these people on here is based purely on my remembrance of them in Samurai Remnant, but yeah, these three are definitely A tier. Now this is a problem, because these three, so Aoko, whatever this guy's name is, and Alice, these three are from Witch on the Holy Night. I still have not played through Witch on the Holy Night, despite the fact that it's been in my Steam library for a year. Now, unfortunately, that means I have to put all three of them in neutral. I really should do that before the collab event brings those three to FGO next year. And last, but certainly not least, is Ciel from Tsukihime. And much like with Arcueid, I really like her. So she's going into A tier. And with that, we have every character on the list. We have no more to add. Hooray! So, who is on the list and what tier are they in? So, S tier, Mash, Jean Alter, Ereshkigal, Seishonagon, Castoria, Senji Muramasa, Morgan, and Oberon. A tier is Saber. I almost feel like she belongs in an A plus tier, if we're being honest. OG Saber, Saber Alter, Altera, Emiya, Kahoen, Medusa, Ushiwaka, Tamamo no Mai. Do I say the name fast or whatever? Okita, Nobu. Yeah, Nobu's also borderline S tier, if we're being honest. Maybe I should just add another tier, actually. Let's do that. Let's do the add row below for... I'm going to make this the almost S tier. So almost at the top, and we're putting OG Saber there. We're putting Nobu there. We're putting Gareth there. Charlotte there. Barghest and Melu should probably go there too. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, so the almost, to start over, the almost S tier, OG Saber, Nobu, actually, yeah, Okita and Nobu, both. They kind of go together, so Gareth, Charlotte, Barghest, and Melu. So this is like the A plus tier, I guess. So let's rename it that, actually. A plus tier. There we go. And then for the A tier, Saber Alter, Altera, Emiya, Kahoen, Medusa, Ushiwaka, Tamamo, Mordred, Astolfo, Nidokris, Bedivere, Castergill, Miyamoto Musashi, Gramps-san, MHX Alter, Melt, Tomoe Gozen, Cersei, Hokusai, Okita Alter, Oryo, Summerjan, Yumeiren, Kama, Mori Nagayoshi, Nagao Kagetora, Da Vinci Lily, Mandricardo, Himiko, Van Gogh, Nemo, Miss Crane, Percival, Habitrot, Constantinos XI, Charlemagne, Kriemhild, Don Quixote, Arcuid, Tezcatlipoca, Tenochtitlan, Yamato Takeru, Miyamoto Iori, Yui Shosetsu, and Ciel. For B tier, we have Arash, Leonidas, Marie Antoinette, Martha, Medusa, Hans, Waver, Sasuke Kojiro, Chinke, Sanson, Heracles, Kintoki, Vlad III, Tamamo Cat, Jean, Drake, Skahak, Fran, Karna, MHX, Ryogi Shiki, Nightingale, Billy the Kid, Iskandar, Idrisfield, Shuten, Doji, Ibaraki Doji, Gawain, Serenity, the original Da Vinci, Ilya, Ishtar, Enkidu, Quetzalcoatl, Jaguar Warrior. Do I really have to name all of them? We're going to be here for a bit. I bet some of you are probably tuning out of the video already. But screw it, I'm going to keep going. We started this bit, we're going to finish it, damn it. Moriarty, Hijikata Toshizo, Bibi, Sherlock, Chiome, Katodanzo, Osakabe Hime, Abigail, Semiramis, Asagami Fujino, Anastasia, Atalanta Alter, Achilles, Okada Izo, Skahak Skari, Prince of Lanling, Red Hair / Red Rabbit from LB6. He's the reason he's up here, if we're being honest. Benny Enma, Murasaki Shikibu. My Japanese pronunciation's not bad, but it could be. Sometimes I have issues. King Portea, Lakshmi Bai, William Tell, Asfataman, Asclepius, Jason, Summer Carmilla, Space Ishtar, Calamity Jane, Super Orion, Yang Guifei, Odysseus, Kainis, Utsumi Aris, Saito, Nobukatsu, Ashiadoman, Ibuki, Vitra, Kichiogen, Karen, Galatea, Bavanshi, Jacques de Molay, Zenobia, Izumo no Okuni, Ranmaru, Taigong Wang, the Trung Sisters, Roland, Shufu, Lady Avalon, Yamanami Keisuke, Io, Rasputin, Kirei would be A tier again, Kukulkan, Johanna, Tiamat, Draco, Locusta, Bima, and Nocnarib. From LB, mostly the LB6 character, because we still haven't seen Summer 8 yet, or I haven't. For the neutral tier, which includes characters I don't even remember the frickin' names of, Chevalier de Aeon, Robin Hood, Atalanta, Benkei, Georgios, the young Alexander, Mozart, Cursed Arm, Matahari, Asterios, Darius III, David, Hector, Nursery Rhyme, Paracelsus, Charles Babbage, Jekyll and Hyde, Brynhild, Beowulf, Dantes, Helena Blavatsky, Rama, Li Shuen, Geronimo, Agramagno, 100 Personas, Sanzang, Fumakotaru, Ozymandias, Tawaro Tota, Chloe, Cleopatra, Hessian Lobo, Yan Qing, Proto Arthur, Passion Lip, Bunyan, regular Bunyan. You know now that, the reason I separated them and Super Bunyan. Parvati, Hozoin Inshun, Neja, Salieri, Ivan the Terrible, all of the Valkyries, Sitonai, Qin Liang Yu, Miu Edefelt, Sima Yi, Rhaenys, Astrea, Gray, Paris, Chengong, Europa, Voyager, Kijo Koyo, Watanabe no Tsuna, Hephaestion, Bazette. She's probably going to get higher once I know Ataraxia better. Taisui Xingjun, Tai Kokuten, whatever their name was, Mary Anning, Kyokute Bakian, the frickin' author from the dog event, Miyamoto no Tametomo, Huang Fehu, or that guy from the Halloween event, Rito Mart, Kashin Koji, Durga, and Kali, Sugitani Zenjubo, Aoko, whatever this guy's name was. I still need to play Witch on the Holy Night, and Alice. So these three. Okay, so I should actually clarify that. So she appears in Tsukihime briefly as part of Shikitono's backstory. Gives him the glasses, right? So I've met her before. I know who she is, but I don't really have an opinion on her. So I know we're a little better than these two. So that's the neutral tier. The mixed tier is Siegfried, Saber Gilles, Gilgamesh, Yarale, Blackbeard, Shakespeare, Mephistopheles, Carmilla, Caligula, Anne and Mary, Diarmid, Jack, Tesla, Arjuna, Amako Sashiro, Maeve, Emiya Assassin. Again, I'm distinguishing it from Kiritsugu here. Kiritsugu would be B tier. Minamoto no Raiko, Lancer Artoria, Lancelot, Tristan, Merlin, Emiya Alter, Cha-Cha, Suzuka Gozen, Scheherazade, Wuzeten, Penthesilea, Yagyu Munenori, Avisebron, however the frick you say that guy's name, Sakamoto Ryoma, Napoleon, Sigurd. Wait, Sigurd? Sigurd doesn't really belong in mixed, if we're being honest. I put Brynhild in C. He doesn't belong here. Mixed is like, frickin'... It's like I kind of like him for some reason, but I kind of don't like him for some... Alright, you know what? I'm gonna change this. See, this is why we're doing this. It's not just naming everybody, it's also a final check. I'm gonna move him to neutral. I'm going to move him right here next to the Valk. I don't remember the exact order that that'll be fine. So he's neutral now. So Napoleon, Xiang Yu, Qin Shi Huang, Bradamante, Gianco Caligari, aka Ganesha, Dobrynia, Ruler Moriarty, Zhang Jue, Senno Rikyu, and Duryodhana for the mixed tier. The dislike tier, Nero is borderline F, Elizabeth, Romulus, Boudica, Castor Gilles, Steno, Lubu, Spartacus, Eric Blodax, Fergus, Edison, Vlad Extra, Getia, Columbus, Chiron, Bartholomew. Bartholomew doesn't deserve that. No, I'm moving Bartholomew into mixed. Koyanskaya, Huyanzhou, Takasui Shinsaku, and Ushigozen. Characters I can't stand: Galahad, Caesar, Phantom, the original Artemis and Orion, Fionn, Queen of Sheba, Sieg, Dioscuri, and Super Bunyan. And then last but not least, the characters who scare me: Kyohime, Kiara, and Salome. Now I realize that's a joke tier. If I had to put these characters in a not joke tier, I would put Kyohime probably in B tier. Okay, don't move her. I'd put Kiara. Honestly, I think I'd put all three in B tier, actually. But, you know, since I decided to make a joke tier, they're going to be in the joke tier. That's where they're staying. Anyway, that is the list. That is the list of all these. There's 300 characters that are servants in Fate, in FGO, and these are my opinions on them, more or less. So if you want to ask me who my favorite characters are, it would be one of these 8, or it would be among these top 8. So Mash, Jean Alter, Enesh Gigal, Seishonagon, Castoria, Senji Muramasa, Morgan, and Oberon. And now that I've answered this question, please don't ask me that ever again. Please don't ask me who my favorite characters in FGO are again. I'll just send you to this video, okay? Can we do that? Anyway, that'll do. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Take care.